Welcome back after a week off. We'll have another week off next week. So we had a few more, it seems like, this year than we have, but we're back today. And then after next week, we should find a pretty good rhythm being weekly again. This week, we are officially introducing Coach Paige Blaney.
Thank you.
Paige has been coaching here for about a month now. I've taken his class quite a bit. I really enjoy having him so far. And so he's taking over Jack's classes in the evening and on Saturdays, and also been doing quite a bit of training. He's starting to ramp up his training load. If you guys are looking for a coach or a trainer who particularly specializes in lifting of all kinds, Paige is your guy. So what I love to do is just, Paige, if you could give us maybe, 5-minute synopsis of just like your background, maybe like sports, activities, things you've done. And that's kind of where I love to start with this.
Yeah, sure. I'll just kind of start with where it all started, really. Yeah. So my whole family's into fitness. So, we have my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle, my sister, they're all marathon runners. Wasn't really my cup of tea, but, I knew I'd be into something like this. My mom, she was the weightlifter of the family.
Okay.
So she would always go to this gym in Zanesville. When I was 13, I was just like, hey, Mom, can I go with you? And she just kind of started showing me some things form-wise. And, it was pretty good because, she wanted me to start benching, but she wouldn't let me bench more than the bar for probably 4 or 5 months until that form was just, like, perfect. You know what I mean?
Just curious, what gym was that?
Genesis. Lifestyle and fitness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I lived kind of out by you, but we would go to a gym in Dresden. There weren't very many gyms.
No, definitely not.
When you get out there, you're going to there's a gym a county.
Yeah, we drove 30 minutes into Dresden area to go to a gym.
Yeah. You're probably going to find one or two. But they call it getting bit by the iron bug. And I was bit early, so 13, it's kind of game over ever since then. I was just kind of doing my own thing, not really following strict programming, but just seeing those beginner gains, just by putting in the effort. But, freshman through senior year of high school, I was on our powerlifting team, did fairly well. Still,
that's cool you guys had one.
I know.
Yeah, it was very cool. They just started that in, I think it was my freshman year is the first year they started it.
Okay.
They had, the competitive board, all the weight classes, everything like that.
Okay.
Did that for 4 years, did fairly well. And then that's where I learned to love the cardiovascular endurance side of things when I joined the Marine Corps, just going on big long runs, humps like that. But after that, I just dove headfirst into powerlifting.
Yep.
I found an old school warehouse powerlifting gym in Zanesville, Ohio. It's called Iron Forged. And I was there for 5-6 years. That's where we started to really dive into programming. I started doing the classic Windler 531.
Yep.
531, or, that's where I started to study and kind of dabble a little bit into Westside's conjugate system.
Yep.
And we started to play with some bands, chains, things like that. And I was always a raw lifter. Maybe I would throw on knee wraps. That's about it. But, I slowly started to dive into single ply lifting. And I did that 5-6 years, very low scale meets, nothing too serious. But, after 5-6 years doing that, I just kind of calmed down with worrying about what my numbers were, but more so of just trying to be big, strong, but also try to be a little functional. So I like to keep that called power building. So powerlifting, strength training, a little bit of bodybuilding, so a little bit of everything. That's kind of what I've been really focused on towards the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. Now that I'm teaching the power hour, it's really kind of reignited some things with me, trying to get really heavy into the squats, bench, and deadlift again. But I'm trying to keep that mindset of let's not just focus on the numbers like I tend to do.
Sure.
Because that's just fun, hearing the plates rattle, it's music to my ears. It's my little iron therapy. But, that's where I'm at right now. It's just kind of bodybuilding, powerlifting, the balance between the two. Yeah.
You look like you've tightened up since you've been here already.
Yeah.
I just saw you earlier today. I'm like, shoot. I just saw you from behind, and I'm like, you look like you've dropped.
As of this morning, it was 16 pounds, right?
Yeah,
we're doing a shared note with his diet.
Yeah.
And he weighs that.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's where I was. I just saw. I was like, man, I don't remember him being that ripped up when you started.
248, I think, when you first started. So I've been training with Paige for a month, and it's funny because I was like, hey, Brandon, I'm going to train with Paige. I want to probably teach him some things, and Paige is kicking my ass.
You're tough. I can't break you.
There's the other way around. Yeah, I'm like, you can break me. Just have me Olympic lifts. Have me do like 1 rep maxes, Olympic lifts, any sort of skill in CrossFit, but the high reps, I'll go all day.
All day, yeah. Endurance queen.
Yeah.
Can't stop it.
Yeah, but I feel like like what we've been doing over the last month, I can really see a change, like the hypertrophy, like my strength coming back, but it's cool to see like my muscles popping again, which I just feel like I haven't seen for like a decade, like really like some pop there. And that's, it's fun to see.
That's why I really like to punctuate on like the, the bodybuilding side with strength training, to really work on the eccentric motion of the lifts while not only just focusing on the concentric, just being quick with it, but really having that time under tension so we can get muscular and be strong at the same time.
Those drop sets, that's what I feel like really, those are good. But 16 pounds.
I mean, even like the first day, once I got that email from you saying you're interested in having me on here, that's when I immediately just started to turn it on a little bit, just crank that dial a little. Because I was 255.
Okay.
And then, when I started working with you, that's where we really started to just dial in that diet. So first week, just micro adjustments here and there. But now that it's locked in 100%, today it was 232.5 at the 257 from a month and a half ago.
Yep.
And the strength is still there, so that's the really important thing,
It's always a fun balance, I think, with your body where you can find those sweet spots where there's almost like diminishing gains where it's, say you're getting heavier, like body mass wise. And you're like, okay, for every 1 to 5, it doesn't matter. Like I've hit a spot where like any bigger I get, I'm not getting that much stronger that faster. It's like almost not worth it. Or the same thing with like getting lighter where like, okay, there's a spot where you hit where you're like, oh, I'm losing strength quick now. Yeah. And it's like,
it's interesting how it's so different for each person though.
Trying to get it to all me.
Yeah. Everybody has their own specifications they have to do.
Because I feel like, coming from like an endurance background, like at least even on like the Olympic lifts, even on the power lifts, I've not lost strength even when I was pretty light for me. Like the 125 is so light. And I remember hitting my max squat at 125 just because my hips will move faster. Because I kind of move slow and I'm not explosive. But then when I get lighter, I get like a little faster.
And a little more athletic.
I bet Chelsea's like that too, where she probably hangs on to a lot of strength even when she's light. Yeah, she comes from like an endurance background.
Yeah, I mean it's just tough now because I would say with what she's doing now, with like the numbers on the waist, don't matter. It's like the muscle stimulus,
right?
So it's like it's really more that hypertrophy
time under tension.
Yeah, and just really trying to build, the size of the muscle rather than just, as much weight as you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting when you're talking about that balance between what's the most optimal size for me for the demand of like, say, a particular sport I'm doing or activity, right? So I remember being in football, like in college, I probably wasn't huge coming out of high school. I was, same height I am right now, but maybe like 200, a little over 200, maybe 205, 5'11",
okay,
on a good day. I'm probably like 5'10", 3/4. I've probably shrunk a little bit, but I think the most I ever got up to, just kind of developing and eating more in college and just kind of doing that as a full-time thing, I probably got up to like about 230. And at my frame, I feel like, a linebacker, you need some mass to stop people and to shed linemen and things like that. But I think if I got any heavier than that, I was going to lose the ability to like have, be agile on my feet and to run down plays and things like that. So it's, if I was maybe 6'2", now I could be like 250, right? I mean, you'll see like D1 linebackers.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So if I had a bigger frame, I could disperse some of the weight better. But like at 5'11", I just was going to be less mobile, especially if I had to cover like a slot receiver. I'm just not going to be able to like move in space very well. So.
Yeah.
And when you were competing in CrossFit, you were like 215? Is that right?
I was definitely like, I should have been, not should have been, but it was good in a lot of ways if you kept me on the ground doing a lot of like power things or running or rowing. Or stuff with the barbell, but higher up gymnastic stuff, it just ate me alive.
You pulled well. You had really good pulling
Yeah.
strength for your
Decent,
size.
but like
yeah.
if, it just when it starts to get to that upper echelon, I probably could have lost 10 or 15 pounds and probably held on to a good amount of that strength, or maybe I lost a little bit, but just been able to have a little more stamina on certain things that were not as top tier as the other stuff. But
It's a tricky balance to be like, because you feel strong on the stuff you feel strong on, and then it's like doing a bunch of burpees or going upside down. All of a sudden you feel your weight a whole bunch, and it's like, okay, that just changed. CrossFit's interesting like that, and depending on what what the actual competition is, it can definitely favor like a larger athlete. Like I remember the 2012 regional was a very heavy, powerful regional, and we had a girl from our gym who was very strong who made it to the games based on just like she was just had more physicality than the other girls. And then the next year it flipped a little bit, and I'm sure she was actually a better CrossFitter, but the events flipped and she didn't place as well,
Yeah, even I guess for like boxing or powerlifting, like, going and changing weight classes.
Yeah.
Like, am I, sometimes you're gaming the competition, the people you have in that field, but also kind of like you said, how do you, am I peaking at a certain weight versus another weight? If I'm lighter, do I have a better chance at, winning in this category, things like that?
That has to be a big mind fuck to like go different weight classes. So you probably have like the place where you feel good. I mean, just to jump like 15 pounds in a weight class.
I'm going to give everyone a betting tip for combat sports. If an older guy moves down a weight class after he's been in one for a while, and he moves down a weight class and is fighting a younger guy who is good, and even if he was a legend, he's going to lose 70% of the time. If they go up, they can do well. When they come back down,
these guys are faster, probably.
The guys in the lower weight class are faster, and they tend to be flat when they come back down.
Yeah.
Maybe they've lost muscle. Maybe there's some PEDs involved, something. But when they come back down, when they're north of 35, like say someone goes from 185 to 170 in the UFC, they're going to lose. If they go up, they can keep going up and win. And like, because their body's getting
more
bigger.
Power behind them.
You
Yeah,
lose that strength and power.
But sometimes you'll see them come down, and if you're a betting person,
are you going to play some bets next week when we go? We're going to Vegas to watch a fight. Are you going to play some bets?
I don't know.
Let's put money where your mouth is now.
Who
Come
was
on.
it?
Canelo and Bud Crawford.
Yeah, I think Canelo.
Yeah.
We're going to put our money on Canelo, though, regardless. I am.
So here's the thing. When we were in Vegas last time, I was running to the sports book. We had been at a pool party. I was going to bet against Canelo with Beevil because he's an Olympic gold medalist. Canelo was moving up a weight class. This guy was long and fast. I'm like, and he had really good odds. And I'm like, I want to put $1,000 on this guy. And I got there, and it was already in the fourth round, and the Beevil had won all 4 rounds, and he ended up winning a decision. This is the opposite. I would bet on Canelo for this fight.
Yeah.
I think he's a step too far for Crawford. He's moving.
I agree.
He's moving up a couple weight
So
classes.
that goes along with your theory of like when you're you've always said the lighter boxers they can't box as long, like, but the heavyweights they can get into like their like late 30s, early 40s because they keep that power.
Yep.
But like the speed you lose.
The real quick, high end, twitchy speed and reaction. That's the lighter weight classes.
Yeah.
Under 160, it's a lot of that.
What about
Manny Pacquiao's the one guy who's defied that. He just came back and got a draw with the champion. He's 46.
I was going to say
wow.
At 147, and he's the small 147. He started at 118.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He started at 118, but he was so fast that even him, he slowed down a lot. Even him being 46 and slowing down about 25%, he's still faster than almost
because
anybody.
he's jumped up weight classes as he's gotten older,
which has helped.
So how's that? How have you seen that? Does that change for women? Because I used to train this professional runner, and she told me that women would peak and then she ran 5Ks. That was her event. She said women in her event usually peaked more in their mid 30s, maybe in upper 30s, but women did. But men peaked almost like not a decade, but like 5 to 7 years
earlier.
Earlier.
So we've seen that a lot in, oddly, I remember that in CrossFit for a while. You would see some older women, like it was like really young with the women, almost like tennis, and then you would see some older women, at least a few years ago, I remember, doing better. Endurance sports, I've heard that with women will hold on to
so this wasn't like a 100-meter dash, but this is a 5K.
So
they're still
So I'll see it in women can handle more volume than guys. Now some of it is, I always thought it was just like a little bit nervous system where, like, you know, if you get your body really used to doing a ton of reps, like your percentages will kind of get closer as you do that.
Yeah.
But now that I see it, there is some gender bias there too, where I'll watch, say even like a Megan Ward or Gretchen, who are women in their 40s, who can train for a couple of hours a day, you know, and do a lot of volume and handle it really well. And I don't see a lot of men that age. Actually, none.
Well, I wonder if that's even just like hormonally, you know, without as much testosterone, the type of muscle you put on, if it's more like the slower twitch or whatever that can kind of hang in there and not burn out.
I remember Doug Chapman. So this was a good, so he had the Hyperfit training program. It was an extremely high volume training program.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, well,
I remember.
So
It's good though.
Women did really well on it, and most men that I talked to after they'd done it for a little while struggled to maintain the volume on that. But, you know, like Julie, trying to think, China Cho, like these women who were games competitors did very well on this very high volume program, and a lot of guys that like it
they would get injured or
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's Paige's.
I know. I digress.
Yeah,
Back
to get into
Paige's.
CrossFit, maybe eventually, right?
Yeah. Eventually, we're working on it.
Rehabbing the shoulder.
Yeah, working on the shoulder.
Where's your mobility at today?
I mean, the mobility's there. I mean, I have all the movement. It's just, you know, heavier pressing motions above my head that I have to work on. So, you know, we did a little bit of the needle therapy yesterday, and then, you know, I have exercises I have to do 4 times a week, and then just reevaluate in 2 weeks and kind of go from there. But yeah, it should be improving, I think. You know, what we did was pretty good, and the exercise I have are kind of working all 3 parts of my deltoid. So should be able to get it pretty strong.
Yeah. Kneeling's good for it. But, I mean, CrossFit in general is just tough on the shoulders, right? Right, boys? They know.
Yep.
Shoulders and backs.
Which is, the workout we just did today was pure shoulders and back.
Yeah.
It was a good one, but it was all shoulders and back.
Yeah.
Just rotating the shoulders around and hinging and hinging and hinging. Everyone who, like, even like power lifters who will get into CrossFit, the one thing that oftentimes they'll say is, like, their deadlifts will actually improve, even if they'll get a little lighter. Now, maybe if, you lost 50 pounds, but, like, the deadlift strength, sometimes they'll lose, especially, like, we do a high bar, like, low box, or, like, a low full, like, Olympic weightlifting style squat.
Yeah.
So it's high on your shoulders, your chest is upright, you're getting your hips down really low.
With that depth, yeah.
And then we don't bench much. So, like, and then if you're losing weight too, like, just your leverages change. I remember Shane, who you'll do the seminar with, who worked out at Westside. He's like, I literally can't bench half as much as I used to be able to. He said there's a litany of reasons, but he said a lot of it is just simply my leverages, because he was, his body was here, and then the range was like here to here, rather than like now he has to go all the way down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to train, especially with powerlifting. You just tend to have your muscles build up in a certain way that when you want to transfer over into something like CrossFit, you need to make your adjustments. Yep. Like the first day that I did Power Hour, you were in the Power Rack with me, and we had front squats.
Yep.
I could do front squats. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, did I traditionally do them? No. I would do low bar, very wide sumo squats. That's how I did it because I was always about those numbers.
Yep.
First time I put the bar here, fingers, I was like, I feel like I just want to press this above my head. I can't even get this down.
I remember.
Yeah, so awkward. Yep. Like, that's frustrating, but I need to let this man know I'm strong. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, this isn't happening. Let's put the bar on our shoulders. I'm like, let's put the bar on our shoulders. I'm like, well, that's uncomfortable. As soon as I squatted down, I made it 6 inches down, like instantly angry. I'm we could quadruple this weight if it was on my back. I just did not have that range of motion. So, yeah, mobility, flexibility, things I'm working on now. Doing a lot of stretching, a lot of, boxed Romanian deadlifts, just working on getting a little lower each rep. And then, with the weight loss, doing cardio every day. All these little pieces to this puzzle that I've assembled to put together to be one solid foundational thing to be able to be a better athlete, strength athlete, and to get into the world of CrossFit.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to represent myself in a way to where, I can do it 100% functionally and be efficient at it, because I don't want to be the big power lifter in there and like, all right, this is what we're going to do, and I can just teach you lifting things. But no, we want to be able to get after all of it, so I'm not there yet, but, it's a process.
It's awesome, man.
It's
and it's going to it opens up your versatility to being able to train all these different, I dive into power lifting style training. I tried to do it once a year for a while, and it's my real weakness. But over the years, it's gotten a little bit better, and I can at least speak with a little bit of knowledge to it now, and I can teach it and coach it and train it because and now I have 10 years of running these little powerlifting cycles and doing it and experiencing it for 12 weeks at a time, and so it's helped make me more versatile, so I'm not just talking out of my ass when I'm doing it, so.
That's a beautiful thing about it, too. I just love weight training and strength training so much that, I was teaching the triplet 10-year-old boys yesterday. Yeah. We had PVC pipe out, and we're just learning how to deadlift. Then we got our little 15-pound bars, and we're just teaching them how to deadlift, but, keeping it fun.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I've never worked with, kids before. So I'm just figuring out, I really enjoyed that. I love teaching people how to powerlift that are just, adults, or, give me somebody. I've worked with people that are morbidly obese and, just not even strength training, but just, playing around with weights. Let's say, make sure we're functional, but let's get a little light cardio in and then have them be excited about that huge weight drop just because they've probably been sedentary for however many years. Sure. You know what I mean? So every little piece is just very exciting. So whatever else is coming my way, I can't wait to see. Because in my mind, I wasn't thinking, my third client I'm going to have, they're going to be triplet boys that are 10 years old. That never crossed my mind, and I saw them walk through the door. My game plan went out the window. Yep. We made adjustments on the fly, and, we had a good time. We made games at the end of the workout. We made games the other day.
Kate showed me leg press on the planet, and it was too late.
Yeah.
So you were 10 minutes into the session. I'm like, nope. As soon as they unhinge this thing, these kids, their legs are going to explode. They cannot hold this thing up. It's too heavy.
Yeah. No, we got some big boxes out, so we did some dumbbell step-ups, some little kettlebell work. Yesterday we made it fun. We did a kettlebell farmer's carry from white line to white line in the rev room. And then for a little game, this time it was just a Superman hold. So one head was here, then I'm here doing it with them. Yep. Everyone hold your hands up. First person that drops is the first loser. They owe me the most work. Second person owes me the second amount. Third person's the winner, gets to stand there with their hands on their sides and just kind of smile at their brothers. You know what I mean? Yep. So, the punishment wasn't anything. It's just, hey, let's do another farmer's carry. Yep. Up and back. You got second. Okay, just go down. That was it.
I'm sure they're all competitive with each other. So by the end of this whole thing, I think you're going to be like a master chef. I'm going to teach you how to make your food taste good.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
So have you been talking to? Is he not like a cook kind of guy?
Well, he's simple.
I can be. I'm just.
Okay. He's kind of like I'm doing sweet potatoes, and I'm doing
That's
chicken.
That's guys in general.
Simple.
Yeah.
I remember we had So Joey Tortora was, he was like in the height of his athleticism here, and he was getting real lean and really dialing in his nutrition. He's like, oh, I just can't eat this. And I'm like, well, how'd you spice it? And he's like, it was hamburger. He's like, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, no salt, no pepper. I'm like, no wonder. So, that's what I'm trying to get Paige. I'm like, make yourself a sandwich for lunch.
Yeah.
Like, you've got enough carbs there. Like, have like a bagel or something, sourdough bread, or get like some seasoning packets or salt. You got to put a little butter on your sweet potatoes. Like,
100%.
enjoy the fine things in life.
You can only ride like the bland train for so long.
Exactly.
A little butter is not going to hurt us.
You want to die. No. Like, you literally want to.
Yeah. A lot of meals, just a little Parmesan cheese is going to be fine. It's not going to go. A little cheddar cheese on top, it's not going to hurt you. Like,
I swear, when I was doing shows, I think I would like take that. Remember that spray butter? I would OD on that shit, and I feel like I would like dump it on my like chicken and stuff. And it's so stupid because all that adds up. Like, if you spray Pam on something, long enough, it's a tablespoon of olive oil. Yeah. But it's just like all these rules that we would always have. And Mrs. Dash, everything was like no salt before you realized you needed salt. But
nothing better than early 90s and 80s diet culture. Snack wells and that butter spray stuff and margarine and sugar-free this and that.
Well, no, I mean, in the 90s, it was like all the fat-free.
Okay.
Because I wrote all the trends.
Sure.
I can take you through the history. And then after that, then they, pendulum swings too far the other way because it was high carb, like no fat, low fat. Then it was like no carb, no fat, all the fat.
Let's go back.
Yeah. Then you kind of went into macros, and then it's like, the food quality matters, but how much does it matter? Because it was like the kind of the reverse dieting of all the bodybuilding, everyone that got kind of messed up. So then you got like the Lane Nortons that are, which I worked with for a long time. He's pretty smart, but he was all about like, it doesn't matter that much. And so all of his clans would be like eating like gummy worms and Pop-Tarts to kind of work into their diet. And to some extent, like, I mean, you can get pretty lean. I remember this guy I worked with at Lifetime. He did bodybuilding shows and would win half the time. And he would work in either like a piece of pizza or a Snickers, something every day. And he's like, I'm going to have it in the middle of the day, right after my workout. I've got enough calories. I'm probably taking in close to like 3,000. I can have this 250 calories. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
And that's true. But your food quality, it all really matters.
It does.
Like the food timing all matters. But then you can just like obsess over any one point to just where you just, consistency is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
and
I feel like everybody should have their own approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you could read as many articles as you want about it. You could look at as many social media influence and follow what they're doing.
You can always find someone else with an opposite opinion that works for them.
You have to find what works well for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, last year, I was around 250, 255, and that's when I was like, we're dialing up to 110%. We're going to lose weight. I didn't have a set goal. I just want to see how far I could push it. Yep. I did it the wrong way. It was nothing but chicken, rice,
all protein,
broccoli, every meal. Protein drinks, casein, and I just protein. I lost weight, but it's not a sustainable thing to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I got down to 217. This was last August. So I remember I was at Hilton Head. I'm like, 217.
Yeah.
Right on. But month by month after, 5-pound gain.
Once you just couldn't keep doing it anymore.
I'm like, I swear, if I have to eat another piece of air fried, boneless, skinless chicken breast, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
So, for me, like I said, it works better. Everybody has their own approach.
Yep.
But for me, I'm doing it as in that approach where I'm being absolutely ridiculous. I'm not treating myself at all to the point where you're like, have a cheat meal this week. And I'm like, no, But we're working in that cheat meal. We're starting to flavor our food a little bit. Last night, we had purple rice. So we had carrots, cucumber.
And you made that at home.
Everything. Yeah. Then,
that was good. I thought you went to
then we swapped out the chicken for dinner. I just swapped that out with beef.
Yeah.
So I get that third animal protein. It's so much better than just half a bag of 90-second rice, ground beef, mixed vegetables.
Right.
That's what it's been every day. It's just routine. Boom, 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 2.5 hours. So just slowly.
I feel like we all do that to some extent. Like what's worked for us in the past. You just want to go back to it. Like we would have these knockdown, drag out arguments about paleo diet. And because it worked, I mean, it worked for you. And I'm like, look, I'm going to do this for a month. And I didn't purposely try to gain weight, but I got like so hungry. I would just eat the shit out of like nuts and like dried fruit. I gained 7 pounds.
Yeah, I was shredded when I did that. I mean, like, I couldn't pinch an ounce of fat. Now, I also just wouldn't get that hungry. But for her, it you seemed like your appetite would get crazy.
It's just, and I felt like at that, everybody kind of works a little different. And a lot of it was the way I was training. I wasn't used to. So my body was kind of like, and I needed that extra like energy or carbs or whatever. And so if you eat that from nuts and dried fruit, it's just really calorically dense. So, I mean, it's like anything. You can cheat your way around it. I've talked to people here recently that they got on Ozempic, they didn't lose any weight, and they're like, I just figured out the times a day that I could eat around this. You can do that with anything, you know. But yeah, I think it's a mix between like how you want to live life, like, you know, how do you want to go out to eat 2 times a week, 3 times a week? Then how do you work that in, being a little bit tighter on your other days? Or do you want to make every day a little bit more fun? And then, you know, there's certain things where like some people just want to go out to eat for lunch or dinner almost every day. That just doesn't work. Yeah. You know, you just can't make certain things work.
Yeah, finding what's sustainable is the most important thing.
Yeah,
we can crash all day. We can label whatever diet we want, but it's just that lifestyle change. You know?
I mean, and I would always go back to like, I mean, when Brandon and I first started dating, I remember he went out to Chipotle, and I was in a space where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get lean again. And I brought like tuna packs with me to Chipotle. And ate
that was like a second or the third date kind of a thing.
She's like, this girl's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. This is going to be great.
She brought tuna packets. I'm just kidding.
And I didn't care. I just didn't. But,
I remember though, I had been around enough pretty hardcore people at that point with exercise where it wasn't like a complete like foreign.
I was also testing.
You're like, I'm going to note this, but it's not a red flag. It's not a pink. No. It's a pink flag.
It took another month or two where I was like, hey. Well, where it hit me too, that was funny because she really liked to go. She liked like cocktails at like really nice restaurants, and I'm like going out, and she's not really fucking eating anything. Like she's getting a salad and eating. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get a steak or whatever. And I'm like, I wasn't making any money. And, you know, I'm like getting these tabs, and she's getting 4 cocktails with like dry ice and shit in it. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this every weekend.
I got to double the size of my gym.
Exactly.
Right.
Guys, we're moving to Grandview.
It's exactly what I
can't afford my bar tab. We're getting out of Gahanna.
I've got a girlfriend that likes $18 drinks, but gets a chicken salad.
Yeah.
I remember that. Like tiptoeing into that conversation, like, you like these restaurants, but you don't actually eat you're not getting into the menu and eating I'm like, you're just getting a salad. I'm like, you can get that at like Panera, you know? I'm like,
that smoked old fashioned looked pretty good. That was okay.
Yeah, those were pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, personally, it's taken, I think I was just telling Brandon this the other day, and it sounds kind of cheesy. It has taken me so long to learn to actually enjoy food. And I feel like something like traveling helps because you can kind of get immersed in that culture, like, you know, outside the United States or whatever. But it's such a weird feeling. Like I grew up kind of a chubbier kid and in a family that was overweight. And so I always just felt like I can't enjoy food or I'm going to be overweight. But it really wasn't, I wasn't really enjoying it. I was just overeating, you know? And it's kind of like coming to that realization, like if you enjoy it, you don't really need to eat all that much. And it's really about you overeating and not just eating the type of food, you know? And it's so like it for me, it's just been a very like emotional, deep sort of journey into like allowing myself to enjoy something that's really like a sense, you know, it's like seeing, hearing, feeling, like enjoying food. And it's something that, you know, people don't talk about a lot. I think this is starting to become like more of a popular subject, but if you truly allow yourself to enjoy things and be in the moment and just have the thing you really want and don't eat a lot of it, but make it special, then it's not something you tend to overdo and binge out on, you know?
Sure.
And that was like all of my, you know, not allow myself to have anything. And then, you know, when I break down, when I can't take it anymore, then I'm allowed to have the thing. And of course, I'm eating like fucking 20 servings of it, you know, whatever it is. If it's pizza or cookies or whatever thing that I've deemed I'm not allowed to have. I mean, it was even, I remember my brother lived with me for a while in my mid-20s, and he's like, he was telling me this story. He's like, remember when I wasn't allowed to buy peanut butter? And so then he bought like this, they had this thing at Trader Joe's. I don't know if
because you couldn't have it around you.
I couldn't have it around me. I eat the whole jar. So he got this.
I'm gonna steal your stuff.
Yeah,
Like
just
a
be like,
crackhead.
you're not. Yeah, you're not allowed to have it in the
Don't bring
house.
that crack into the
Yeah,
house.
I wasn't joking around with him either. I'm like, if you have it, you got to hide it in your room. Okay. So he brought this peanut butter home, but it was like better than butter or something. And I ate the whole jar. And he's like, damn it, Kate. And I was like, I told you, but I was mad at him. And he's like, that was the most, you ate all my peanut butter and then.
Yeah.
So Paige, what's your favorite type of like cheat meal?
Oh man, you know, probably pizza.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
Yeah, that's been the
me
weekly
too.
thing. Because
Yeah.
once a week, I'm like, I'm gonna treat myself.
Yep,
Like, what's
pizza.
it gonna be?
Yeah.
I'm on DoorDash. I'm like, all this pizza.
Pizza,
You know,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten the same place 2 times in a row, Pies and Pints.
Yep.
That's been the go-to.
Yep, that's
you
good.
I
know,
don't think I've been there.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's good.
I got to tell you, this weekend there's going to be a lot better. I have my cheat day planned out already, my cheat meal. So we're going to be testing all of the food for our wedding.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not going to be eating all of it, but you know,
Right.
Yeah.
Tasting, yeah.
Yep.
Try about 10 to 12 different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
Tasting
the meal.
menu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Just have to show a little bit of self-control because I mean there will be leftovers. So just
Yeah.
a couple bites of each.
Yeah.
But it'll be good.
Yeah.
Definitely get my fix on everything. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get married in March?
March 21st.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
That'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, I know. Very excited.
This is
Can't
the
wait.
year of marriages.
It
Yeah,
is.
We
yeah.
got
it is.
Maddie's wedding
Yeah, there's a
today.
few.
Jordan got married. Lexi's getting married in December.
Mm.
You're on March.
Yeah, it is. A lot of
Yeah.
people are getting married. That's awesome.
Yep. Now we got to get that wall going of like I want to have a wall of everyone that met like at our gym that got married. I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. We do. We want to
Yeah.
do that. We have a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of
I'm
people
sure.
here.
I mean,
So-
everybody. I mean,
It can be like a tree. We can
everybody's
be at the
so friendly.
we can
here,
be at the
you
top
know.
of the parent tree
Yeah.
and branches down.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we could send like an email out, like, hey, just send us a picture and like
Yeah.
when you met or something like that.
Yeah.
And we could make a collage of it or
That'd be
something.
cool.
That'd be really fun. We could print them out. That's
Yeah.
on. Yeah, that'll be on the list for.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
that'd be really cool. So you guys have your powerlifting seminar in about a month.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Is
Over
that in
Gahanna.
Cincinnati?
It's in Gahanna.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So ours got we tried to have one here, but we booked it like super late. It's like, yeah, hey, we'd like to do it. And they're like, yeah, we have an open weekend. And there's only like 2 or 3 weeks. They got a few signups, but it wasn't enough to host it. And they already had one planned in Gahanna like for 2 months later. So Dave, Paige, and Drake are all going to be doing that together right down the road with their friends over at CrossFit Gahanna. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Very fun.
Bring some of the conjugate knowledge back. That was one of my favorite seminars. I've done a bunch of them. So we did that, me, Dan, and then Arlie, who preceded Jack as a conjugate coach right at the end of his run here. We all went down to Cincinnati and did it and had a blast that weekend. Mandy did it with us as well, actually. And it was a small seminar, but we learned a lot. And you get some good workouts in.
Yeah.
They show you how to blend it into CrossFit and do a conjugate-only program. And it's very hands-on. You'll do, like, accessories. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's like it's a good mix of like you get some training, you get some hands-on, and then the knowledge is really cool. So I'm pumped for you guys to do that.
Very excited. That's the best way to learn it too. You know, have somebody tell you how to do it, and then you're actually physically doing it yourself. You know what it's like.
Feel it,
you know,
yeah.
feel it. You know,
Shane, I really
way to
like
do it.
Shane who does it. He's just a really like a lot of people. Conjugate training tends to attract like a certain type of mind. and he's definitely like one of those types, but one of the he's just got so much in there that like you could talk to him for days and days and days about it. Yeah. He can just nerd out on it, and you're just scratching like the top layer of dirt when you're talking
about
to him.
banded speed days for 4 hours, and then we can talk about a deload week.
Exactly.
Talk, we just have something every day we go all day with. Yeah.
I mean, I was geeking out with him. He was talking about we were talking about because we both are really into. It's kind of actually how we met. My buddy is an MMA fighter, and so we started talking about fighters, and he was like sending George St. Pierre's coaches like emails because he saw like a strength gap in his like when he was winning all these decisions, and he's really fast and he's able to take guys down, but he was like a little later in his career, he was starting to lack a little power that he had earlier on, but he asked his like coach, he's like, is he just doing like gymnastics and Olympic weightlifting? He's like, yeah. He's like, there's a gap in his strength. He needs like this extra strength. He'll start finishing guys. He's watching these fights. And me and him talked about that like at lunch for like an hour and a half. And then like his assistant like had to like literally rip, like we have to get the seminar going again.
Yeah.
We're just like going into like tangents, but you guys will have a good time and learn a lot. And I'm excited to just bring like every time people do that, we bring a good energy back into the gym.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, just the location of where we are right now and where Westside Barbell Conjugate is taught, where that is implemented. I mean, it's the strongest powerlifting gym in the country.
Yep.
And the fact that we can teach conjugate here is just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
So the fact that now we're going to go to Gahanna and we're just really going to punctuate and really know everything that we can know ins and outs and be able to bring that knowledge back here. It's like, what world am I living in right now?
That's
you know
awesome,
what I mean? Is this what I'm doing? Like, this is like the coolest thing.
That's so cool.
It's very cool. So I'm very excited to go. I'm looking forward to it. So this is great. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, hey, thank you for taking the time out of your day and just like helping us introduce you to the crowd.
Yeah,
I think most of the people around are starting to get to know you now. And but it's cool to like dive in and just get to know you a little bit more on a personal level. And this will be getting out on Monday. And I'll share a link with you and everything. You can share it with your friends.
Cool.
But yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
On.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.